Our next guest is, hi Jeff, how are you by the way?
Fine, Peter,
Okay.
thanks for asking.
Our next guest is Pete Cronan, who is the voice of the BC Eagles football. Has a very interesting story. He works for Merrill Corporation, and I think he'll be interesting. He's an interesting guy, and we'll see where this goes.
Hi Pete, how are you?
I'm excellent, Jeff. Thanks. Thanks for having me. It was a nice ride in this morning, and so I made it. I'm on time.
So Pete, maybe we should go through a little bit of your resume, because I think it's quite interesting for our listeners before we get into some discussion of current events.
Okay. Grew up in Framingham. Went to Boston College. I was a collegiate athlete. Played football there. Got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks in 1977. Interestingly enough, I was the 53rd pick of the draft. The Patriots just drafted 53rd. I'm going to be watching very closely to see what kind of bonus that guy gets. I think it was substantially more than I got back in 1977.
Probably about 10 times.
Oh, yeah, probably about 10 times. That's good math. But played with the Seahawks for 4 years, and then 5 years with the Redskins. Was unfortunate enough to play on a couple of Super Bowl teams. From the area, yeah, I got my ring on, got my Super Bowl ring on, and
Okay,
I came
that's what
back.
I'm going to take a picture of.
I came back here with my wife from Watertown and raised a family and get into business out of football. Started in the financial print business and spent 10 years at R.R. Donnelley, and now my 14th year at Merrill Corporation, and we specialize in information management. We are, the consultant speak is, we are a technology-enabled information management company specializing in complex, confidential, and regulated data. So what that means is we deal in the legal and financial arena, and on the litigation side, as well as the reporting side for SEC regulated information. So that keeps me busy. But I think the wrinkle today, the thing that Pete was interested in, was my background. Having all those off seasons, I played 9 years. I actually studied entrepreneurial science at Bentley University, because I always thought of myself as a guy who wanted to self-employ. I had started a couple of small businesses and learned some very valuable lessons. So here I am. I perceive myself as an entrepreneur.
A survivor too.
So far, so good. Yeah, so far.
And you played on the teams with Joe Theismann?
Joe Theismann, John Riggins, the Hogs. Yeah. We had a very interesting.
And Theismann was in the other meetings.
He was. Yes. Theismann. The thing about Joe Theismann that I always respected was that he always had. Remember Larry Bird, give me the ball. Give me when it came down to the final crunch. Joe Theismann had the same mentality. He stepped inside the chalk line. He stepped on the gridiron. He had the mentality, give me the ball, and I'll find a way to make us win.
Well, again, I originally grew up in Canada, so I'm one of those people who knows not just Doug Flutie went to Canada to play, but Joe Theismann.
That's right.
Went to Canada first and was phenomenal in Canada and got a lot of good grooming up there, and it was not a. And I know that the original Washington coach didn't want him because they thought he was he was a scrambler and he was short.
Well, any